To the deep dive. Today, we are immersing ourselves, really diving into a set of materials known as the Seattle Codex.
Right. And it's not your typical sort of, business stock. It's quite different.
No, not at all. It's this really structured approach to, well, personal sovereignty, navigating timelines, reality authorship, using language that feels almost mythic sometimes.
Definitely. You see terms like T-waves, event stream, even architects.
Exactly. So our mission today is kind of act as interpreters. We want to translate this, let's say, powerful but maybe esoteric framework, translate it into practical concepts, tactics you can actually use right now to gain more agency, more clarity in your own life.
And the core argument is, well, it's pretty profound. It basically says your internal state isn't just affected by the outside world.
Right.
It dictates the parameters of that reality. Your inner world shapes the outer.
Okay, and the bit that really hooked me right away, that core premise, is about the future self. It's presented very differently here.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fascinating flip on how we usually think about time. The Codex says your future self isn't just like a hope or a maybe. It's described as a transmitting intelligence, and it's operating from a more stable version of your timeline.
Wow, okay, so you're both ends of the same being, in a way.
Pretty much. One end, the future one, has already done it, already succeeded, manifested whatever it is you're aiming for.
And the other end,
Yes.
us here, now.
Is receiving the signal, the instructions, the pull to align with that success that's already happened. It's like one end remembers, the other manifests.
Okay, let's unpack that signal then, because that could explain those weird feelings we sometimes get, right?
Yeah.
Like life speeding up or things feel off-kilter.
Exactly. And it connects to this idea of the event stream. The Codex describes reality not as this fixed path.
More like a flow.
Yeah, a flow of infinite potentials that are constantly collapsing into what we experience as matter. And the key description they use is that reality is still wet.
Wet, like changeable.
Changeable, yeah. Malleable, right up until the moment it sort of solidifies into consensus fact.
That makes sense. That concept, the event stream, feels really central to understanding sovereignty then.
It is, and if your future self is sending data back along that stream, that data arrives as these T-waves, temporal waves.
Okay, what are those exactly?
Yeah.
Like a feeling?
Often, yes. They're described as shock waves, usually generated by a significant action your future self has already taken in that stable timeline.
So we feel the ripple effect backwards in time.
Kind of. It shows up in the present, often as a physical sensation. Pressure in the chest is a common one they mention, or a sudden, inexplicable urge to change course, even anxiety or insomnia sometimes.
Right, and this is where the translation piece is so vital for anyone listening. Because if you feel that chest pressure, that urgency, what's the default reaction?
Panic or stress. You think, oh no, I'm anxious or something's wrong. You pathologize it.
We slap a medical label on it or a psychological one.
And that, according to the Codex, is the fundamental misclassification. Your nervous system is brilliantly wired for survival, right? Fight or flight. Detecting threats from the past, from behind.
Okay.
But a T-wave isn't a threat from the past. It's expansion. It's your destiny, your future self, pulling you forward.
But the nervous system doesn't have a category for destiny arriving.
Exactly. So it defaults to the closest thing it knows. Danger. Unknown sensation. But the Codex insists this T-wave is feedback. It's a signal from future you, pulling you into alignment. It's actually confirmation.
Wow. Not a warning sign. But wait, if it often feels like anxiety, and we all know that regular anxiety feels like loud story-filled worry.
The what-if spirals.
Right, so how do you, the listener, tell the difference? How do you know if it's a genuine T-wave nudge or just standard fear?
That's a really good practical question. The Codex gets specific about intuition here. Intuition isn't just emotion. It's the decoder for these T-waves. It's data from the event stream.
Data. Okay, how does that feel different?
It has 3 key traits. It's instant. It arrives quickly without a long windup. It's neutral. There's no heavy emotional charge or judgment attached, just clean information. And it's persistent. It repeats quietly without a big, scary story.
Okay. So anxiety is loud. It tells stories. If I do this, that terrible thing will happen. And it's usually rooted in past stuff or fear.
Exactly. Intuition, the T-wave signal, is just the data point, the nudge. Quiet, neutral, persistent. If you get that repeating sense without the panic story, that's likely the transmission.
So the body itself is the antenna. It's the receiver. And it's the decoder, too, if we just learn to listen properly.
Precisely. We waste so much energy trying to logic our way through signals the body's already processed on a much deeper, faster level.
Okay, but let's say you start tuning in. You start acting on this clearer data. The Codex warns that's when resistance shows up, right?
Right.
This idea of control systems, temporal predators. It sounds intense.
It does sound dramatic, yeah. It helps to see them maybe as systemic metaphors rather than literal bad guys with capes.
Okay, so not actual villains hiding in the time stream.
Probably not. Think of them as self-organizing forces. Systems of conditioning, social pressure, psychological inertia, things that basically work to keep everything the same. The status quo.
And their goal.
Their function really isn't malicious. It's just to maintain stability by breaking the connection between you, your present self, and that sovereign future self you're tuning into. Growth destabilizes the old system, so the system pushes back.
And the Codex says these pushbacks, these attacks, aren't random. They're predictable. They happen at specific junction points.
Exactly right. They hit you at 3 key moments where you're naturally more vulnerable to self-doubt or giving up.
Okay, what are they?
First, they attack before you even take the first step. They flood you with what-ifs and fear, so you're paralyzed, you never even start.
Makes sense. Stops momentum before it exists.
Second, they hit you right after you get some initial momentum. You have a small win, things start moving, and boom, friction, doubt, problems arise. The goal is to make you think, oh, that first success was just luck. This isn't really working.
To undermine that early confidence.
Precisely. And the third point is maybe the most insidious. They attack just before the breakthrough. That moment when you're exhausted, you've poured everything in, you're so close. That's when the biggest wave of doubt or obstacles hits. They hope you'll quit right at the finish line.
Knowing those points is actually really empowering. It gives you a tactical heads up.
It does. You can anticipate it. And the main tool they use, the mechanism behind this control, isn't like physical force. It's what the Codex calls the shadow contract.
It's a shadow contract based on stories.
Yes. That's the subtle genius of how these systems work. The shadow contract is that unspoken agreement you make to limit yourself in exchange for perceived safety or belonging.
Like what kind of stories?
Things like, to be accepted, you have to fit in. Or, don't rock the boat. Or, maybe real security means playing small. These narratives become ingrained.
And how do these systems enforce this contract?
Their currency is simply your attention. That's key. They don't actually need you to believe the story wholeheartedly or approve of it. They just need you to focus on it, to react to it.
So fear, anger, outrage, even just arguing against it in your head.
All of that equals attention. And attention is energy. You're feeding the very system that's trying to limit you just by giving it your focus. Hate equals attention equals energy.
Wow. That reframes scrolling through negative stuff online, doesn't it? Or obsessing over criticism. It's like making an energetic payment.
It is in this framework.
Yeah.
And to lock people into this contract, the systems apparently engineer or at least amplify 3 core primal fears.
Okay, what are those big 3?
These are like the anchors holding people back from real sovereignty. First, the fear of being seen. We're often taught safety lies in blending and in anonymity.
Or don't stand out too much.
But the Codex flips that. It says visibility is actually the escape route. The crowd is the cage. You can't claim your sovereign power if you're hiding who you truly are.
Okay, fear of being seen. What's next?
Second, the fear of being wrong. This one is huge. It freezes evolution. People cling to old ideas, identities, what everyone else thinks, because they dread the potential shame of making a mistake.
But progress requires trying things, making mistakes.
Exactly. Power, the Codex argues, belongs to those who dare to move forward, knowing they might be wrong sometimes. Sovereignty demands accepting failure as part of creation.
Makes sense. And the third one?
The fear of being powerful. This sounds counterintuitive, but it's real. If deep down you're afraid of your own potential, your own creative force,
You won't use it.
or worse, you'll unconsciously hand it over to people or systems that have absolutely no fear of wielding their power, often over you. These 3 fears keep people stuck in reaction mode.
Okay, so if you recognize you've bought into this shadow contract, maybe through one of these fears, how do you break it? How does the severance work?
The severance isn't about fighting the system head-on. It's about withdrawal. You consciously withdraw 2 key things: your fear and your attention.
You stop feeding it energy.
Exactly. You stop letting their narratives define your reality. You start defining it for yourself. It's an internal shift, reclaiming jurisdiction over your own mind and energy field.
Is there a specific action for that?
The Codex mentions a demarcation ritual, but it's essentially a clear internal statement of intent. Something like, I withdraw consent from any system claiming authority over my sovereign field. It's quiet, internal, but decisive.
Okay, so it's not a battle. It's a declaration of independence.
Well put. And that act immediately shifts you from passively hoping things change to actively initiating change, which leads right into the law of the first move.
Ah, yes, the idea that you have to act first.
Reality bends for those who move first. The universe or the field or whatever you want to call it doesn't really fund detailed plans on paper. It funds movement.
So waiting for all the lights to be green is the wrong approach.
According to this, yes. People wait for funding, for permission, for the perfect moment. But the event stream only starts to recalculate, to shift potentials when you commit energy through aligned action. Even a small first step signals your intent powerfully.
That first move tells the universe you're serious.
Pretty much. And this whole shift from reacting to initiating is what defines the difference between being a citizen and being a sovereign.
How does the Codex define those terms?
A citizen, in this context, tends to react to the world as it's presented. They look for rules, seek permission, wait for outside approval or validation.
They operate within the existing system.
Right. A sovereign, on the other hand, issues commands to the world. They take full ownership, full responsibility for the reality they are creating. They set the parameters.
And there are specific shifts involved in becoming sovereign.
Yes, the 3 shifts of authority. First, moving from just wanting something to actively willing it into existence. Recognizing that reality changes because you exist and choose it.
Okay, wanting to willing.
And second, moving from brute effort to managing your frequency. Realizing that it's your internal state, your coherent vibration, that actually persuades the external field to respond, not just hard work.
Frequency persuades the field. I like that. So if the sovereign is like a broadcast tower, not just a receiver?
Then the ultimate practice is the sovereign mind protocol, which essentially means assuming the reality you desire has already aligned. You operate from that endpoint.
Assumption is the key.
Assumption is the language the field understands best, according to the Codex. Doubt creates friction, static. Assumption is like pure signal. It forces your entire being to align with the destination because you're already acting as if you're there.
Okay, this is getting practical now.
Yeah.
Let's talk mechanics.
Yeah.
How do we actually achieve that state of assumption, that frictionless alignment? The Codex talks about coherence, right?
Yeah.
And identity migration.
Yeah, it's not just about imagining something. It's about migrating your actual sense of self, your identity, into the version of you that already has it. And the key physiological state for that is coherence.
Coherence. What does that feel like? What is it technically?
It's when everything lines up internally. Your clear intention, your corresponding emotion, and your physical actions are all perfectly synchronized, singing the same note, essentially.
And when that happens?
When you hit that state of coherence, your signal, your broadcast to the field becomes incredibly clear. Unblockable is the term sometimes used, those control systems. They lose their grip because you're vibrating at a frequency they can't interfere with.
So maintaining coherence is the active practice of sovereignty, especially when things get tough.
Absolutely. That's the ongoing work.
Okay, then we need tools. Practical things listeners can use right now when doubt creeps in or when one of those T waves feels overwhelming. How do we find coherence quickly?
We can use the body's own systems. The body is the antenna, remember. So first, there's the anchoring ritual. It's described as a simple 3-step lock for immediate realignment.
Okay, 3 steps. What are they?
1, take a deliberate, measured breath. Conscious breathing instantly regulates the nervous system. 2, place your palm flat over your heart area. That physical touch grounds the feeling, makes it tangible.
Right.
And 3, speak the command, either internally or out loud. My future self has already succeeded.
Not, I hope my future self succeeds, but has already succeeded.
Exactly. It's not a wish. It's a timeline claim. It commands your internal state to match the reality that's already established on that stable future timeline. It overrides present doubt.
I can feel how that would shift things internally. Okay, what about when things are really chaotic? When the nervous system feels totally hijacked, maybe that temporal predator resistance feels really strong.
For those moments, there's the black box breath. It's designed as a kind of emergency reset for the nervous system.
Black box breath, how does that work?
It's a specific rhythmic cycle. A 7-second inhale followed by a 7-second hold, then a 7-second exhale. Nice and slow, very controlled.
That was 7-7.
Right. Repeating that simple, uniform cycle forces the nervous system out of its frantic, panicked pattern. It stimulates the vagus nerve, brings you back to a coherent, stable frequency fairly quickly. It neutralizes the internal chaos.
So these tools, the anchor, the breath, they're ways to actively build and maintain what the Codex calls the zero-doubt field.
Precisely. That field isn't just a mental state, it's physiological certainty. Your entire body behaves as if the desired reality isn't just possible, but inevitable. It's the only outcome available in your field.
And the claim about that field is pretty bold, no manifestation delay.
Only alignment delay, that's the key insight. When you're internally incoherent, your mind wants one thing, your heart feels another, your body holds tension, the field mirrors that static, that friction. That's the delay.
But when you hit that zero-doubt field, that state of pure coherence,
Synchronicities pop. Things click into place instantly. Because you've removed the internal resistance, the universe isn't slow to respond, we are slow to align.
that really lands. It shifts the responsibility, doesn't it? From waiting for the world to change to changing our internal state.
Completely.
So wrapping this up, the core message that really stands out for me is this sense of command. You are not fundamentally here to obey, not the old stories, not the fears, not the status quo.
You're here to override.
Yes. Your sovereignty is presented as non-negotiable. And your coherence, that internal alignment, isn't just a nice feeling. It's your primary tool, your weapon even.
And if you connect all these pieces, from T-waves to coherence, you end up at what the Codex calls the law of the mirrored field.
The mirrored field, meaning
The world isn't this separate thing acting on you. It is you reflected back. Everything external, the good, the bad, the challenges, the lucky breaks, it's all an echo of your internal state asking to be recognized.
so you stop trying to polish the mirror.
And you start adjusting the source, the frequency you're broadcasting. That's the essence of it.
Which brings us back to the beginning in a way.
Yeah.
It means that ultimately, you're no longer just reading the Seattle Codex or any guide like it.
You become the author.
You're writing it. Every choice you make from that place of sovereignty,
Yeah.
every coherent breath, every action aligned with that future self. It becomes a living page. You're architecting your reality.
That's the ultimate command.
And that's the thought we'll leave you with today. You're not just reading the map, you are drawing it.